Hey guys, welcome back to Forbidden Forest Dragon Escape. In this episode will be the last episode of this little series of Coaster Bees Build Challenge, and in this episode we'll be focusing on Hogwarts Castle and a little extra scene I made with Ron Weasley's car in the it's a willow tree or something. I don't remember the name of the tree. But the first thing is to work on Hogwarts, which would be my center point, or my centerpiece of this map. Kind of the thing to kind of tie everything together for that Harry Potter theme. So this version of the castle sits on top of the depot, which is just covered in rocks. I did that earlier, trying to figure out where it's going to sit, and this castle was kind of a difficult, not difficult, it's just it was a different challenge than I usually go for type of build. And also this building didn't have to be as accurate because it was going to be a small representation of the actual castle, so it's kind of a smaller version of it, so it's scaled very down to kind of fit that type of thing, but it's also trying to copy Universal's way of how they did their Hogwarts Castle, which is on top of the hill, which basically sits on top of the show building for, I think it's called Forbidden Journey. One of the ride. Yeah, the ride thing's called Forbidden Journey. So it kind of just hides that show building. So this is kind of the idea too. Was kind of just to hide the depot from the rest of the park. So the pieces that I was using, I used majority of vanilla assets, and I also used Shy Guy's roofs to kind of help with the peaked roofs of the building. So from pictures I've looked, this rectangular section I think is the main hall of Hogwarts, and then there's a tower next to it which would represent, I think, one of the dorm rooms for one of the what are they called? I mean, I think it's the dorm rooms for Gryffindor. I think it's for Gryffindor. I don't know. I don't know much about Harry Potter. I only know like surface level stuff, but I think that's what it is. Because one of my brothers is like into Harry Potter, so he was kind of my go-to guy to kind of figure things out, to kind of make things pretty accurate. He was pretty psyched, and he liked the way I did this map and all that stuff. So I got some good points from him, so that was all nice and cool. Here, just doing some decorative toppings for the detail of said hall. Kind of just copying what I have on reference pictures. Nothing like, I didn't have to imagine new stuff. It was just more just copying, figuring out the different things. To do taller triangular pieces, or taller, sharper triangle or pyramid pieces, I just stack more pyramids on top of each other and change the sizes. So that usually helps too in that way, just kind of making it taller or pointier. This section here is a little outcrop. I think it's just a part of the entrance of the Great Hall. Just using pillars and borders and stuff like that just to kind of give it that detail. Again, it's just copying at this point, and also trying to take pieces to represent the items that I'm trying to copy. And also, when it came to the roof part, I decided also to extend the roof taller by adding an extra taller roof piece, and this actually helped out its steepness, because it was actually pretty steep in the movie, and I wanted to make it sure that it was more steep here, so I kind of did that here. And then some more shapes here to kind of add detail on the walls to give it some more of a castle feeling, because Hogwarts is a castle, technically speaking, even though it's a school. So I have to do all the traditional castle things that would go with the castle. I don't know, details that you would call for a castle. So like battlements and turrets, walls, windows, things like that. Out of the Shy Guy set that I've already, at this point I've played with it enough that I do have some dislikes and likes for the set in general. So again, the one dislike is that the names for all the pieces are kind of messy. So I don't like how they were labeled. So it's a kind of a hard thing for a new player to jump in and look at that. But after a while, you do get used to it. So there is a good thing about it. Later, it gets better, but it's really hard to get used to sometimes. So that was one problem I had. But the other thing I do like, though, is that these little window pieces I'm using on top of the roofs are very versatile. I do like that. They were meant to only be used for like pointed roofs and stuff, but I like to sink them in and make them look like smaller windows, and that actually works out pretty well. The window choices for the Shy Guy sets are actually pretty nice. So are the borders are nice too. What's the other things I don't like? One other thing I don't like is the wall set that goes with the Shy Guy sets, because they're two colored on both sides. So if you don't know that, you can change them to the same color. But it's also useful too if you're trying to make a different color indoor and outdoor section depending on your theming. But I would rate the Shy Guy sets, all 4 of them, about an 8 out of 10. So it's missing 2 points for me for labeling and some like design choices for the mod. But overall, it's a pretty good mod. It's probably an essential mod to have if you want to get into modding your park and stuff like that. So yeah, that's an 8 out of 10 for me. Here, just still doing the detail work for all the little pillars and turrets and things like that. This episode is going to be shorter. I should have said that like 7 minutes ago, but kind of been rambling about things. So yeah, here is just testing out something with the pillars from Shy Guy's set, or borders actually. Didn't work out here. I was just trying to make a different type of wall set here. So I just kind of copped down and just did more pillars. That worked out pretty well. And then shapes on top to give it more thickness to it. And yeah, it turned out pretty good here. And then on to maybe hopefully building that giant turret. It's not a turret, it's more of like a tower, a giant tower, where I think is the dorms for Gryffindor. So that's probably the next step right now, is doing all the brickwork. Yeah. So I go into this section. Now, it was a benefit to make this a scaled model of Hogwarts, because I don't think a real scale Hogwarts would work well in this game, because again, when you build giant circular roofing, we only can go up to a 2x2, and I would have to imagine that Hogwarts Castle's main tower is like an 8x8. No, maybe more like a 4x4. That's pretty large. It's like 2 times bigger than this cylinder. So it's maybe a good thing to just keep it at this scale. Kind of helps out with its design, because I always feel like when you do something realistic, and especially in Parkitect, they kind of warp in its size and things like that. So here I'm going to just use some cylinder discs to make it a little bit thicker, because a regular cylinder is as thick as a 2x2, but a cylinder disc is actually bigger and has a lip to it, and so at its full size it has a lip, and I like that, and so I did that. And then to accommodate, or to make the roof taller and sharper, I did a whole bunch of cones stacked upon each other, and cones that kind of spread out the bottom to kind of make it look over a lip overhang, and it's a very tall pitched roof. So that was a fun little experiment. I did like that. That actually provided pretty well. And then I looked at some reference shots, and there's like these little windows on the roof, like they're little ventilation windows probably or something. So I'm going to imitate those with little borders. Again, it's all force perspective, because it's all small and nothing. Well, it's not supposed to be that detailed, even though it is detailed. Kind of weird, back and forth. Yeah, I think this works for the detail that I'm looking for. Here I'm just trying to do a test on the diagonal section. The windows look too big, so that probably goes away actually. Did I change oh, I did. I used cylinders to change it out instead of using border, that little border piece. I think that works out better actually. But it's just experiment, trial and error right here, and it's very time consuming. And then I copied it with the blueprint and just placed it all around the roof, and now I do like how the roof looks with its well, roof. It has those little windows, and then I did a little lip also to help out with its definitions, because Parkitect likes to bleed into itself a little bit. So jumping onto Ron Weasley's car, which is, I think it's his parents' car. Most likely, I think it's his dad's car, I think. So I felt like I needed one extra scene to kind of connect things together with, well, the movie in general or Harry Potter theme. So I went and used some of Engineer's tube shapes kind of as tree trunks. Those work out really well actually. I didn't want to make a custom car because it was such a small detail, so I just took the car from the game and changed it to the color close to that car, and then I added some details on it to give it more of that the details of that car from the movie. So I kind of just was, yeah, even doing a simple thing like that actually still works, and it still portrays that this is the car from the movie. Some shapes, yeah, some cylinders at the, not cylinders, sorry, those are spheres. Should know my shapes by now. Those spheres are just going to be end caps for the tree trunks, and I did some pillars to simulate tree, like the branches going up, kind of like the willow. It's not supposed to be that accurate, but it's believable to the point where it's kind of just very tree-like, and then the tree's kind of just holding the car in place. And I think I liked how this altogether worked. I made sure that the car's lights were on too, so I did some lighting effects on it, like right here. So the sci-fi lamp inside it, and I think I did an orb piece to kind of give the outside more glow, yeah. And I made this more prominent with the, yeah, there you go. I just sunk them in where the lights are, and then it kind of worked out from there. And then on top, it's going to be a white piece to kind of simulate a cover or a different type of white paint. So that's what I did here. So this is all wrapped up so far, and we'll go on to a live view and show you the full map in its completeness. So I'll catch you there. Okay, onto the tour of Forbidden Forest Dragon Escape. So let's start out with our beginning of our map right here. It would be Hogsmeade, and then a couple little shops. So this is like a witch shop here that has a restaurant inside. And then we have, this actually is a restroom, not really a real shop, but it can be disguised as a shop, and I like that idea. And there's also a break room in here for my employees. And then over on this path as we walk up this way is Hagrid's hut with a motion simulator actually inside, so we'll just take a little peek. There's the motion simulator. And then we can venture over here to the candy shop. And this is where you just get your candy and your cookies. I think there's only 2 shops in here. Yes, 2 shops. So it was very not easy to put this in because like this map is already as small as it is, but that was also a cool challenge. So let's do some close-ups of the actual ride. So here is Ron's car, or his father's car actually. Here's the drop track that you kind of go into this abandoned castle. And then here is the Hungarian Horntail. This thing was fun to build. And I'm probably going to build more dragons like this and things like that. I think this one actually works out really well. And then here's Hogwarts in its final form. And yeah, this is pretty cool. And I even needed some special lighting here and there. Wow, it even started raining. Well, we were about to take a ride on it, so we'll wait until the rain subsides. Let's just fast forward a little bit. We can also look at the lighting that I did for this map. Wow, where did that strike go? That strike almost hit the coaster, I think. But yeah, we can just sit here and look at just the look of the map and stuff like that. So hopefully the rain goes away momentarily, because there it goes. Okay, let's actually ride the ride. Nope. Yes, let's pick this one. There we go. It starts. I do like some of the curves and the helixes that Coaster Tree put in for this coaster. Some of the things I was surprised about were, especially this angle here, this section of track after it drops off the chain lift is not actually too grid. So when building over here was kind of a surprise, because I was going to build a bridge for this section right here for this block ride, but I found out it's actually not on grid. You really can't tell unless you have grid on, so it's actually a very surprising effect. Yeah, this point here where it's supposed to, loops around like this on top of itself, it's kind of races sometimes if you have the coasters timed right. And then the drop track, which is also phenomenal. Drop, and then it does a little launch. It's a very cute coaster. Then onto the remaining lap of the coaster, it goes back into the mountain a little bit, or whatever mountain range I built, into a nice little brake run with a broken bridge. So, yeah, that is Forbidden Forest Dragon Escape. Finished, it's on the workshop. You can go check out Coaster B's video on the results of the winners. And yeah, I'm very happy with this build. Probably going to do more themes like this in the future. And yeah, and also a new Coaster B challenge just came out, and I need to go look at that and see what I can make that themed on. But right now I'm in the middle of other projects right now, but we'll see if I start that one soon. So I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.